The James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, is the top space observatory right now. It's checking out our solar system, far-off planets around other stars, and the structures that make up our universe. Recently, scientists aimed the JWST at a star 120 light-years away. Guess what? It found signs of carbon-based stuff in the air of a possible ocean world. Pretty cool, huh? This is exciting because this planet is super different from anything in our solar system. It also makes you wonder if there are other places out there where life could exist. Want to know more about this exoplanet gig? Stick around. And if you want to stay in the loop about the universe, subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell. So, NASA's James Webb Space Telescope made a big find about an exoplanet called K2-18b, which is about 8.6 times bigger than Earth. What's so special? They spotted carbon stuff like methane and carbon dioxide in its atmosphere. This backs up earlier ideas that K2-18b might be able to support life, since it seems to have a hydrogen-rich atmosphere and oceans. The Hubble Space Telescope already gave us a sneak peek at this planet. K2-18b is in the constellation Leo, 120 light-years away, circling a not-so-hot dwarf star also called K2-18. Planets like K2-18b are rare because they're between the sizes of Earth and Neptune, and we don't have anything like that around here. The chance that K2-18b has a lot of carbon and a hydrogen atmosphere is getting astronomers excited. Many think these planets are good spots to look for life. Methane and carbon dioxide without ammonia make it more likely there's an ocean under that hydrogen air. Some think they might have even found dimethyl sulfide, which on Earth is made by marine plankton. But that's not confirmed yet and needs more checking with the JWST. A University of Cambridge astronomer pointed out that just because K2-18b is in a habitable zone and has carbon, doesn't mean there's life. It's big, 2.6 times Earth's radius, so its core might be surrounded by a thick, icy layer, like Neptune. Plus, that hydrogen atmosphere might be thin. And even if there are oceans, they could be too frozen or weird to support life. Still, researchers got the most detailed look ever at a habitable sub-Neptune planet. A Cardiff University team member said they figured it out by watching light from K2-18b's star as it passed through the planet's atmosphere. K2-18b is a transiting exoplanet, meaning it dims when it passes in front of its star. That's how NASA's K2 mission found it. When this happens, some sunlight goes through the exoplanet's atmosphere, leaving clues that telescopes like JWST can read to figure out what gases are there. The team plans more tests with JWST to confirm their findings and learn more about K2-18b's weather. They're on a mission to find life on habitable exoplanets. Oh, and the JWST found other cool stuff too. Astronomers using the telescope spotted complex stuff, like smog, in a faraway galaxy. It's the earliest find of its kind in the universe. I find this wild because these finds are changing how we see the cosmos. These larger molecules, aromatic hydrocarbons, were located in a galaxy that formed when the universe was only about 10% of its current age. We're talking carbon-based rings that can be found in gasoline and coal deposits. The crazy part is these big molecules formed so fast after the Big Bang, defying expectations based on our current cosmological models. The uneven distribution of these molecules in the early galaxy SP4-1847 remains a mystery. But get this galaxy was already as big as our own, with stars that had as much carbon and oxygen as the ones in the Milky Way. As we learn more, we're realizing just how vast and complex the cosmos is. With breakthroughs, we get closer to solving the mysteries hidden in the stars and other unknown objects in space that scientists have never been able to collect data on. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell. As we learn more about the universe, the James Webb Space Telescope keeps blowing our minds. Its observations are shifting how we see exoplanets and other space objects, pushing the limits of science and space exploration. This awesome telescope lets us see farther into space than ever, revealing puzzles that have stumped scientists for ages and centuries. The find of smog-like molecules in distant galaxies is just one example of how JWST is changing our knowledge of the early universe and how it's still changing. One of the coolest things about these finds is that life, or at least the building blocks, might be in places we thought were impossible. Finding carbon-based stuff in the atmospheres of exoplanets like K2-18b opens doors to studying potential signs of life on planets that are kind of like Earth. These substances, like methane and carbon dioxide, are linked to biological stuff here on Earth. But just because they're on other planets doesn't mean there's life. It just means we need to dig deeper into what could support life out there. The Webb Telescope's ability to analyze exoplanet atmospheres with such detail is a huge step forward. It lets scientists spot not just basic elements, but also complex molecules that could hint at life. This level of detail is key to understanding if distant worlds could be habitable. With these growing observations, we are able to better detect any atmospheric gases or organic molecules that could indicate if biological activities are present on habitable planets. Besides its exoplanet work, the JWST is giving us insights into how galaxies form and change. By watching distant galaxies, astronomers can trace how stars formed, how elements are spread, and what makes galaxies grow. This is vital for understanding how our own galaxy, the Milky Way, came to be and how it has changed over time. The find of aromatic hydrocarbons in a galaxy that formed only a fraction of the time ago compared to our own shows how much we're learning about the early universe. As we keep exploring, each find brings us closer to answering some big questions. Are we alone? What does life need to thrive? How did the universe start, and what's next? The James Webb Space Telescope is giving us the tools to tackle these questions, providing a view into the farthest reaches of space and time. We can expect even more mind-blowing stuff from the JWST. Its ability to study the early universe, exoplanets, and the basic processes that mold the cosmos will definitely lead to new ideas that challenge what we know. The chance of finding new planets, checking out their atmospheres, and finding evidence of life beyond Earth is bigger than ever. It's an exciting opportunity of astronomical endeavors and the universe itself. Each observation reminds us how much there is still to learn about the universe. The Webb Telescope, with its amazing abilities, is leading the way in our hunt for knowledge. It's not just a tool for astronomers. It's a symbol of our curiosity and drive to understand the cosmos. As we look ahead, we can be sure that the finds made by the JWST will keep inspiring and changing how we see the universe, helping us answer age-old questions. As the telescope scans the skies, we can only imagine the incredible breakthroughs to come. The Hubble Space Telescope gave us the first look at this exoplanet's air, which really helped us learn more about it. Just so you know, K2-18b is 120 light-years away in the Leo constellation, spinning around a chilly dwarf star called K2-18. This star is in the right spot for life to theoretically exist. Exoplanets like K2-18b are in between Earth and Neptune in size, and they're not something we see much around here. Because we don't have anything like them nearby, it's cool that K2-18b might have a bunch of carbon and air that's mostly hydrogen. Some experts think these planets could be great places to look for signs of life. The fact that there's methane and carbon dioxide, but not much ammonia, makes people think there's an ocean under all that hydrogen. Some early guesses say there might even be dimethyl sulfide in K2-18b's air. That's a compound that life on Earth makes, mostly from plankton. But for now, it's just a maybe, and we need more proof. More looks from the JWST telescope network should help us figure out if there's really dimethyl sulfide there. One smart dude from the University of Cambridge pointed out that even though K2-18b is in the habitable zone and has carbon stuff, that doesn't automatically mean there's life. The planet is pretty big, like 2.6 times the size of Earth, so it might have a super thick, high-pressure ice layer around its core, kind of like Neptune. Plus, it's got that thin, hydrogen-filled air and all those oceans. Even though we think there's liquid water there, those oceans might be too solid or not good enough for life. Still, scientists got the best look yet at the stuff in the air of a habitable sub-Neptune planet. One of the Cardiff University folks said they did it by looking at light from K2-18b star as it passed through the planet's air. K2-18b is what they call a transiting exoplanet, which means it gets dimmer when it goes in front of its star. That's how NASA's K2 mission first found it. When these transits happen, some sunlight goes through the exoplanet's air before getting to telescopes like JWST. As the light passes through, It leaves clues that astronomers can use to figure out what gases are there. The research team is planning to use JWST's mid-infrared spectrometer to double-check their finds and get more info on K2-18b's weather. What they really want to do is find signs of life on habitable exoplanets. That would be a game-changer for how we understand the universe. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. As we get better at understanding the universe, the James Webb Space Telescope keeps giving us crazy new info. It's changing how we see exoplanets and other space stuff, pushing the limits of what we know about the cosmos. This amazing telescope lets us see deeper into space than ever, showing us mysteries that scientists have been trying to figure out for ages. Finding carbon stuff in distant galaxies is just one example of how JWST is changing what we know about the early days of the universe and how it's been changing ever since. One of the coolest parts of these discoveries is the chance that life, or at least the building blocks for it, might be in places that we thought were too harsh. Finding carbon-based anything in the air of exoplanets like K2-18b opens up new ways to study possible signs of life on planets that might be a little like Earth. These compounds like methane and carbon dioxide are often linked to living stuff here. But just because they're out there doesn't mean there's life. It just means we need to look harder at what it takes for life to happen somewhere else in the universe. The Webb telescope being able to look at exoplanet air with such detail is a huge step forward. Now, scientists can spot not just basic things, but also the complex molecules that could mean life exists. This kind of detail is key for knowing if other planets can be lived on. As we learn more, we'll get better at spotting tiny signs of life, whether that's gases in the air, organic molecules, or anything else pointing to living stuff. JWST is also helping us learn about how galaxies form and change. By watching distant galaxies, astronomers can see how stars formed, how elements are spread, and what makes galaxies grow. This is super helpful for figuring out how our own galaxy, the Milky Way, got started and changed over time. The discovery of aromatic hydrocarbons in a galaxy that formed way earlier than ours shows how much we're learning about the early universe. As we keep looking at the cosmos, each new find gets us closer to answering the big questions. Are we alone? What does it take for life to do its thing? How did the universe get started, and what's next? The James Webb Space Telescope gives us a way to tackle these questions, giving us a look into the farthest parts of space and time. We can expect even more wild discoveries from the JWST soon. It can study the early universe, exoplanets, and the stuff that makes the cosmos the way it is, which will give us new ideas that might go against what we think we know. The possibility of finding new planets, studying their air, and finding proof of life out there is bigger than ever. With every peek we take, we remember how much more there is to learn about the universe. The Webb telescope, with all the cool stuff it can do, is leading the way in our hunt for knowledge. It's not just a tool for astronomers. It's a sign of how curious and driven we are to understand the cosmos. As we look to the future, we can be sure that what JWST finds will keep inspiring and changing how we see the universe, helping us answer questions that people have had for centuries. As the telescope keeps scanning the skies, we can only guess what amazing things will happen next. Whether it's finding new exoplanets, checking out distant galaxies, or finding life where we never thought it could be, the James Webb Space Telescope is where it's at for space travel. Its whole goal is to find new stuff, something that will shape the future of astronomy and how we see the universe forever.